Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm very sorry that I'm not able to be there on back to school night with you, but I wanted to provide a little video introduction so that you can put a face to a name. With that said, let me give you a brief introduction to me and my background. So I was born and raised in New York, born in the city, and then raised upstate about an hour and a half north in Dutchess County, where my mother still lives. I went to a boarding school for high school and then the University of Vermont for 2 years in college, and I transferred to Yale University where I graduated in 2007. I went into investment banking at that point for a year and worked as an investment banking analyst for Credit Suisse in New York City. Very quickly realized that wasn't the right fit for me, and after my first year I decided to take a little time. I went to Colorado and skied and did some soul searching, and ultimately came back and started to kind of wet my feet in academia, but took a little break for time in advertising. And after that year in advertising, I finally decided to go back to school and get a master's in education at NYU Steiner, and I haven't looked back since then. So I started teaching after I got my degree at the Hunt School of Princeton in New Jersey, and after 3 years there, moved out to California and to Sage Hill, where I've been since. And I'm in my fifth year at Sage Hill, teaching English 1 all 5 years, so I'm fairly well versed in the material that we cover in this class, and I'm looking forward to a great year. So with that in mind, that we were off to a great start. I've been exceptionally impressed with each one of my classes and the chemistry that they have developed in such a short amount of time. I've really been impressed with their engagement and really their maturity in terms of how they're able to focus through some fairly long lectures at the beginning of the year on important but not terribly exciting material, I have to admit. So I have been really thrilled with how things have gone thus far, and I'm excited for a great year. So what I really want to do is just to orient you a little bit in terms of where you can find information. I won't waste your time going through it line by line, but I want you to know that we have a fairly in-depth syllabus on Canvas. The first module, the syllabus and calendars module, where you'll find each month a calendar for the month, what to expect, what we're doing in class will be in blue, and then what we're doing for homework each day will be in red in a particular box on that calendar. So highly informative, and it will keep you abreast of what's going on in the classroom. In terms of feedback and assignments, you have access to everything on Canvas. All written assignments, especially analytical work, will be graded. I tend to put quite a few comments on papers, so I encourage you to go to Canvas and look at the comments, the more general comments outside of the paper itself, and then I will obviously ask your children to show you how to access the line edits inside each document if it's not intuitive. And you can find all the information I think you need then and there. So with that said, we have below that, as we're navigating Canvas, the unit that we're in at that particular moment in time. So right now you'll see that below the syllabus and calendars module is our short story module, which we're finishing at the moment. And then below that will always be a reading, writing, and editing module where there's general information about those three important elements of our class. So the unit that we're in will shift throughout the year, but those two calendars and the general information will remain the same. So in terms of the progress or the progression, I should say, that we're going to take this year, we are going to, after students complete their first analytical assignment for early next week, we're going to dive into Sandra Cisneros, The House on Mango Street. And then once we're finished with that unit, we will finish this first semester with Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, and begin the second semester with Celeste Ng's Everything I Never Told You, then head into a poetry unit and finish out the year with J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. So we've got some exciting material to cover, and hopefully a pretty wide range of material so that there's something for everyone in there. In terms of homework, students should expect to spend about 30 minutes a night, but I have to be honest and say that that's largely dependent on how quick an individual is capable of engaged reading. So for some students, it might take them 20 minutes to finish an assignment and be able to retain and use that information, as opposed to another student that it might take up to an hour. And so while that is a great deal of time, it really is important that each student understands their needs and schedules accordingly, so that they're putting their best foot forward and continuing to practice those skills so that they can get faster over time, and while also reaching that level of depth necessary for our analytical inquiry. Otherwise, I don't have much more to share right now, but I want to encourage you, if anything comes up throughout the year at all, that I am available to you. Generally, email is the best way to reach me. I'm highly responsive to email, and will respond in order to create time for us to meet either in person or over the phone if necessary. But I would really love to hear from you. Any feedback, positive or negative, I encourage you to share, as it helps me to be better at my job. And so that's really it. But I again thank you so much for spending your time with me and for your understanding in my absence. Again, I look forward to the rest of the year with your sons and or daughters, and look forward to getting to know you on a personal basis at some other point this year. So thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful evening.